Hello, everybody. I sound like that guy from The Simpsons when I say that, but I'm back. I haven't miraculously bought another deck overnight. I'm actually going to try and do something different, for me anyway. I thought I would make a video, and it will say in the title, obviously, decks that I have used already in my journey, which have helped shaped me as a reader. Whether or not that makes me a good reader or not, I'm not saying that. I'm on the so-so spectrum. I'd say, I don't think anyone would appreciate if I came on here going, I'm the best reader ever. I'm not, because I still can't even figure out half the time the number of the major arcana. Do you know what I mean? 14. Temperance, I guess. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. But anyway, enough about that shite. So yeah, these are the decks. A couple of them are my first decks. Some are not. They're just decks that have really helped me learn the tarot, and they're the ones that really stand out when I'm thinking, well, when I started to learn tarot, these were the ones that were helpful to me. So anyway, I am going to start with my first deck. You've seen this deck because I have mentioned it before, so I'm not going to bang on about the first two decks that I owned too much, because well, you might not know, but they're on my channel somewhere. So it is this one. My mother bought it to me, Sasha Fenton's tarot deck. So very colourful, very vibrant. And when I say this one shaped me as a reader, it was my first deck. I couldn't really remember much about. I never really learned the tarot with these. I just would pull a few cards and read from the book. Not wrong with that at all. I still do that now. But back then I wasn't even trying to learn anything. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll read for my friends. Does he like me? Why are they whispering about me? Do they not like me anymore? And it really actually gave me an awful lot of comfort in my teenage years. That's a beautiful sun card though. And the sun can't make up its mind if it's coming or going. So sorry if the light changes. So they are pip cards, but not quite. They have a little something in them that would tell you or not whether or not they're how they're feeling, kind of. So. And it is actually, I think, other than pre-ordered, no, pre-owned decks that I bought from eBay, they're probably my most worn deck. The colour is no longer really white. They've actually held up really well. In 3 years' time, this deck will be 20 years old to me. So that's pretty impressive. For that reason, I will never get rid of it. So that is that. So kind of helped. Didn't really learn anything, just kept reading the book, but that is absolutely fine. Second deck that Mama bought me, I think Mama bought me this, or I bought it myself, is from The Works, which is just a cheap reproduction of the Marseille. Again, this one I literally just read with the book. Half the time I was reading the swords as wands and the wands as swords. But the readings, they were still really accurate. They were really on point. Oh, chariot upside down. So, yeah, this was my first introduction to, well, kind of, because obviously Sasha's was a bit like this. But this is my first introduction to the Marseille style deck. And no, I did really not take anything away from it, but it's still really in good condition. But it is, I say, not a great reproduction, but then, I've seen some out there and they actually look like this, so what the do I know, in all fairness. So yeah, this was my second deck, and did it really help shape me as a reader? Kind of. Again, a lot of reading from the book. I never really took anything away from it, but it's my second deck. It felt more grown up, moving on from the Colourful Childful deck. Now I can't get enough of the Colourful Childful decks, So there's that one. And then, like I said, these aren't really in any order that I bought them, but I do know that this one wasn't far behind. And this is, and again, I think I've said this already on the channel, this is the deck that really opened everything up for me. This is the deck where I learnt the meanings. I wrote down what I thought and felt when I looked at each card. Tarot Mucha. You know, this is the book that I used with Rachel Pollack's 78 Degrees of Wisdom. This is definitely the groundbreaker for me. This is the one that really started it, because if you do look back, there's some really old videos of mine under the name Imogen, obviously. My favourite porcelain doll growing up was called Imogen, so that's why I adopted the name. And Macbeth, because you'll see it says Imogen Macbeth, is because Macbeth is my favourite Shakespeare play. There you go, bit of information for you. Sometimes hearing the call is terrifying. Nothing says that quite like the terrifying angel. So yeah, this was the real eye-opener for me, and I still love it. We haven't really got the connection anymore. It's been in a bag. I'd love to get it back out and really, you know, go to town with it again, but we will one day. We will one day. Ugh. Put it in the bag. Okay, so where to next? I can't really remember if this one came before that one or after, but again, this was another deck that really spoke to me. And you know, if you go back through my journals, which you can if you want, they're not that interesting. I always write down what deck I was reading with, and this one, I was looking back the other day, hence why I decided to do the video. This one took up a lot of readings for others actually, as well as myself, which is the Glastonbury Tarot. Which will always be one of my favourite decks, because again, like the Tarot Mucha, it really just opened up the world of tarot for me, and it also taught me that I love decks with black borders. Absolutely. And that's the back, just in case you weren't sure. And it also introduced me to myths in decks, which will bring me to my next one in a minute, which was just fabulous. Yeah, this deck got a lot of love at one point. Doesn't get, sorry, I'm leaning on the thing and it wobbles. I won't do that. I just slide them on. Yeah, so it doesn't get as much love as it used to. I'd love to pull it back out and give it the love it deserves. And it isn't until you decide to do a video like this that you start pulling out all the old decks and you're like, oh, I used to love that. Poke myself up the nose. There you are, people. That is class for you. Yeah, so this is one of my favourite images. So simple, yet so stunning. So that is that one, and I won't try and put that back in the bag because it just about fits. Okay, so I'll go on to the next one. Another deck that I read with for quite a while. And I did actually read with a lot of my decks for quite a while until I discovered that I had money. The world was full of beautiful decks. So this is the Arthurian Legend. I probably pronounced that wrong. The book's in there somewhere. And this was another one that was. This one was really rich with myth, and it was great because obviously the Glastonbury tie-in that ties in quite well with it. So not only did you get like the Mythic Tarot, which I have, I've had for a very long time, and no, I have not read with, and it is still in order. So you not only have the tarot structure. This is a poor copy. I know through a friend. Hey Ange, if you're watching, that they did quite a lot of copies. Is copies the word I'm after? Anyway, and the more they did them, the more the faces kind of got washed out. So it is not a great reproduction, but I love it. You know, you've got the stories and the cardstock. I love the cardstock. Most of my decks are bowing now, which is annoying, especially my Morgan Greer. But there you go. See here, see if I can get a close-up. Sorry, I don't have a downwards camera, so you just get face. Can you see that you can't really see Guinevere's face? It's very faded out. And that's kind of, that's with a lot of the faces in this deck, it's like that. So this is the universe with the Giant's Dance, which I think is stunning. I always struggle with the last cards. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes they're not. So, but yeah, so that one kind of, again, with the myths and the structure of tarot, was a buddy of mine for so long, and the book is amazing. I wish I could tell you who it was by. I was half prepared for this video, not that prepared. So there's that one. We haven't got too many. It really is just a short video, just to let you know that I do videos that aren't just about decks and board. Well, you get what I mean. This is that one, and then this one was gifted to me when I first met Ange. So you must get sick of hearing about that, but she's such a love. And she gifted me her Osho Zen. Now again, this one, as soon as I got it, it's all I ever used, and it's black bordered. Woo. So, and this one again, you know, really just blew my mind. It still does. It really still does. I don't use it as much as I used to. To be fair, as you may have heard from my last video, I don't use as many decks as I used to, full stop. But I'm trying to break that off, you know, just for fun, just for my own personal enjoyment, yada yada yada. What about me? So yeah, this was a real eye-opener for me. You know, it was very much very tarot, but also not very tarot in the wording. Yeah, and I just love the mishmash of artwork. Not that it's like the mishmash mess. I mean, just, you know, you have, you see, two types of artwork. It's just lovely. And I do have a book by Osho as well. He is in the deck as well. I do remove him when I'm doing readings. Just by personal choice, I remove him. So, won't waffle on too much longer. I've got 3 decks to show you. This one is the Celtic Tarot. This one I trimmed by hand. I got it from Oxfam in Oxford, no, from Bristol. And the borders were damaged, so I trimmed it. And this used to live in my drawer at work. I used to post daily pictures when I used to get to work. And this was the deck. This is very much like the one from the Arthur deck as well. I didn't actually show you the image, but they are very the same, which is fine because, you know, as a mythical creature, you know that, you know, he's going to sit in the woods and meditate. It is a lovely deck. The book as well is really well written. It doesn't get the love that it used to. I wish it did, because it's the perfect size. I absolutely love this size. I mean, maybe just a slightly bit bigger, but I think it's great. Lovely colours. So again, this one, why this one kind of, it really helped because I was doing it daily. I haven't done it daily in a long time, and I did, when I posted them, I normally did them with my own poems. And just, you know, little ditties that went through my head when I looked at the cards, and I found that a real interesting way of expressing how I was feeling or what I thought the card meant. So for that reason, it's kind of helped me on my way. No, actually, this is the bag it's in. It's still got the post-its in. I would write down a sentence or a word that I got from a card, and I'd stick it on my PC monitor for the day. That worked really well until I struck upon I choose happy, which if you've liked my Facebook page, which bless you if you have, intermittent is how I post, the header is I choose happy, because happiness is not that easy for me. It doesn't come as naturally to some. And then the last 2 decks, well, I'll show you this one. This is the Rider-Waite Smith, you can see. And this was it the first one I got that's the traditional or was it the... I can't remember if it was that one that I got first or if it was this one. Both of them real eye-openers for me, but I'm pretty sure this one felt extra special because of like the thick cardstock, you know, the lack of copyright. And by this time I was moving into the tarot community through the back door, hovering on the edge of your Facebook pages. Still do that. Liking a post now and again. Yeah, so it just kind of felt, ooh, it's old. Doesn't mean anything, it's as good as the rest of them, but it was that moment. So yeah, it was nice to have the traditional deck. Obviously the traditional deck for the Rider-Waite-Smith system. There's more out there than just the Rider-Waite, as you all know. So yeah, this is how shameful it is. It's not shameful, but this is actually my second copy. I have 2 of the blue box ones because I am that shady. No, I'm not shady. Just I wanted to. The idea was that one would get used and become dog-eared and I'd need a backup. They don't get used. Because if they get used, this happens. Come here, bugger. This happens. Look. Can you see? It's damaged. They're not to be used. No, I'm joking. It came like that, in all fairness. So, but yeah, so. Ta-da! You're going to hate the wood. By the end of this, aren't you? And then lastly, I've never done a video on this deck. Never. I've mentioned it, I think, but however, if you go onto the Eclectic Tarot Forum, and there's the thread, what deck are you using now? If you go way back, or just search Cassandra R, that's me, you'll see the deck I was using, and I used it for such a long time. I really did, and it's the one deck that I can half read and half can't freaking figure out, so I was determined. See, this is how special it is to me, and it was only like £3 from World of Books. So it is the Da Vinci deck, Enigma. And I have shuffled this thing within an inch of its life. It was my companion for months. It would come with me to work. It would come with me on the train when I went to visit people. If I had 5 minutes, I'd just sit and shuffle it. We were the best of friends. We hated each other though. I couldn't grasp all of them. The book, fabulous. Didn't want to use the book. By this time I was like, no, I should know tarot by now. I have no such qualms anymore. If I'm looking at a card and I'm like, what the? Get a book. I haven't read for anyone in ages, so, you know, it's not like I'm reading for people going, 1 sec, just get the book. Ah, you've paid £20 for your reading. Excellent. Just get the book. It's fine if you do that, I don't care. Keep the magic alive, people. I don't want to know. So it is... Depends how you look at it. If you like Da Vinci, I do. I have a couple of books on him. And I think this is the reason, this deck here was the reason I got the Nostradamus deck. No. And that is not a slight on the men that made that deck, or the man himself. It is really the stock is diabolical. It is so bad. I don't think I've ever done a video on that one either. So lucky for you, I'm not buying any new decks. So you're going to get loads of videos of all my decks that I don't use. Unlucky. You can unsubscribe. There's a button in the corner. I'm sorry. I'm very tired. I've had lots of coffee. But yeah. So this deck, whilst I wouldn't say it taught me how to read any better, not that there's anything, it's not hard to, it probably isn't hard to read for half of you people out there, but for me, some of the images, I was like, mental block, couldn't get that. But what it taught me is that I can have, oh, it's going to sound so cheesy, but I'm going for it, but I can have that connection with a deck, that we can be buddies. Do you know what I mean? That, you know, I take everywhere with me. Under my pillow, no end, this deck. Yeah, and it just kind of taught me that, you know, after a while, we just didn't get on. It was like, it's time to move on. So lots to be learned, but it is still one of my favourite decks, I must admit. I don't think I'd be happy without having it. So, yes. Let me just find one more to show you. Yeah, it's a nice one. Contention. So yeah, we were lovers for a long time, me and Da Vinci, but then alas, his ideas, they were too wild. So there you go, there's my rambling video. And obviously, because, you know, you're not sick of hearing about it enough, the honourable mention goes to this bad boy. And I don't know why I'm talking in that derogatory way. I'm not trying to insult anyone, sorry. Yeah. You know this one. I can't bang on about it enough. We're also buds. This one sleeps under my pillow too. We are lovers. So, yeah. But because I banged on about that deck so much, I leave it where it is. So these are the decks. Whether I've explained it well enough or not, the decks that really help shape me as a reader of tarot. Whether or not I can actually read tarot, who knows? Sorry to say. But yeah, so, and I wouldn't trade any of these for, no, I would trade it for the world. If someone came to me and said, the world is ending, we need those decks, of course. But you get the sentiment. So, thank you very much. I'm going to leave that there, only because I've got to go and check my roast potatoes. I wish everyone a happy day, and thank you for listening to me ramble. Take care.